Good morning.
Hello. Oops, sorry guys. I flipped my iPad around while all that was going on. There we go. Try not to give everybody motion sickness. All right.
So you're still out in Arizona.
I am. I'm still in Arizona. What? This is what there we go. I get for moving. I'm like, well, let me flip it so the charge cord isn't in the way. I am. I'm supposed to get on the plane tomorrow. Haven't completely decided I'm going to get on the plane.
Oh, geez. I bet they'll be pretty glad to see you back at the store.
Oh, that's just been
Yeah.
yeah.
And you think you were working out here. Haha. Wait till you get home.
Yeah, on top of everything out here and doing damage control from here for what's going on,
Never works.
I'm like
never works right.
Right. And then we have events coming up, so keeping up with the whole like make sure this is shared, do this, post this, do that. Yeah, it's
right. Well, the Zoom for this Friday is full, but we do have spaces for the February 21st one yet. So we're good for that. And on Saturday, the 19th, I will be in the Goddess Elite. So if you're out, bring pictures, bring something you want me to look at. I'll be meet and greet from like 4:30 to 5:30 and then a talk after. And it's limited. Class size is limited for the talk. So sign up if you're going to come in.
That's right. It's usually really hard to do a walk-in for your in-person things because it usually fills up. So I'm sure we're going to get a lot of last minute.
And I'm sure people are still waiting, to see what the weather's going to be like on the 19th. We're too far out to see what the long range is. I think I've had stuff canceled now 3 times because of snow. So, just trying to go do houses. So I don't jump over drifts anymore. I'm way over that. So sidewalk has to be cleaned.
Oh. No sledding to their house?
No. Stopped that a long time ago.
All right. Well, we have Amy. Good morning. And Melanie. There we go. There's Natalie. And Karen. All things Spangela, favorite part of her Wednesday. Amanda. Robin. New Hampshire. 32 degrees in New Hampshire.
Well, it's a little colder here now. I think it's like 27 or something, but I bet you guys had as much snow as we did.
Well, maybe we need to go visit Sapphire because it's 65 there.
Oh. Well, I got offered a trip down to Florida yesterday, which I'm not going to do. So.
Well, Amanda's got our first question. Anybody knows what happens if you try to close a portal but don't get it right?
Yeah. That's why I was very, very careful on exactly what I was showing people when I did that. You have to get it right. Otherwise, it actually feeds the energy because it's like you're messing with it. So you have to be in charge and know how to close it. And if you, like I said, if you don't do it right, you're just giving that energy more strength. So that's why I tell people, there are people out there that years ago took the workshop and they do know how to do it. But just watching somebody do it is not the way to learn.
Right. Well, and Karen said from what Marianne said, Amanda, if you do a portal wrong, blow open other portals. So is that also something?
No, that does not. somebody misunderstood me. You do not blow open any more portals. You just make the one you have like super strong. So that's why
Mm.
you want to avoid it.
Uh, oh, Mr. Miyagi says, what happens to people's spirit guides and angels when they don't go into the light?
What happens to people's spirit guides? I don't know because I cannot see spirits that have crossed over. And I'm just going to say with your guardian angel, seeing that that's supposed to be with you from a little before you're born till you get to the light, I will say that is probably one that would stay with you. Spirit guides, they're not going to guide a ghost. So I'm going to say no to that. But
Mm.
I'm going to stick around with the guardian angel.
Yeah, like, are they sitting around drinking coffee waiting for you to get back into the light,
Right.
or
And
not
the
getting
problem
to
is the guardian angel can maybe try to direct him someplace like to a funeral home or a church where there's a service going on with the funeral, and they could cross it. Maybe the guardian angels are still working to try to get him to do that. I don't know.
Hmm. Sandy says they start drinking.
Yeah, right.
Like they've lost their job.
Right. They're out.
Failed.
What's his name? Clarence. Clarence was the ghost that had to get George crossed over a Christmas. Wasn't that it?
I think so.
What was that Christmas movie with George Bailey? It's a Great Life. It's a Great Life. Yeah, but that guardian angel was, I don't know. Maybe maybe the guardian angel can't get their next person if they don't get this person into the light. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know anybody. I do. No, I take that back. There's a lot of people that say that they can talk to angels and ones that crossed over. And somebody that knows one of those people should ask that question.
I'm going to start keeping notes. I'm going to have to start asking some of these readers, like, okay, this is a
Yeah,
carryover.
right. What's yeah? Because I would be curious.
Let's see. Sue asks, while attending a funeral, have you ever witnessed an earthbound spirit use another's white light?
Oh yes, absolutely. Because it says in the book, and I tell people if you know you have it, leave a note out. Tell them to go to the closest funeral home when there's a service going on. So different times when I've been at funerals, I have seen people. Plus, the interesting thing is, say, oh, I don't know, say your nephew killed himself 40 years ago. He was 15, and grandma finally dies, or his mom finally dies. And so he'll be there and cross over with her. So a lot of times relatives will take other relatives with them that are stuck, which is a good thing.
Hmm. Melody asks, good morning. My daughter-in-law passed a few weeks ago, and now my porch light glows at night. Any insight?
She could be visiting. That's a possibility. And if she's crossed over, they do have it more of a tendency to have the white light around them. So that's probably just her, saying, she's okay.
Hmm. And Divine Energy asks, how do we know if our loved ones are trapped in the wheel of reincarnation?
I don't know because everybody has a choice to come back and when. I mean, just because you die and you go into the light doesn't mean you're going to come back immediately. I make a joke about it. I'll come back, but I'm not coming back till they get the world right because it's so screwed up right now. And I don't want to go through this again. I don't want to be stressed out like this anymore. So I'm waiting. But there are some people that jump back pretty quick, and I think it's personal choice. I've never heard of anybody being stuck in reincarnation. Either you make the choice to come back or you stay where you are.
Yeah, I'm not coming back. I'm
Well, if
done with
you're
all of
happy
this.
where you end up, then stick with it.
Mhm. Melody says, thank you so much, Marianne and Melissa, for recording us the home clearing. It was so fascinating.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Melody. I think I cleared up a lot of the questions on the YouTube last Wednesday because there were so many. Why didn't I do this or why did I do that? So I think we got that one cleared up a little bit better.
And Amanda says, when dead people talk to you in dreams, is it really them?
If it's a good dream, in other words, you dream of your grandma. She looks younger than when she died. She looks happy. You have a dream where somebody died that you know or you were close to and they're screaming, "You have to come with me. I don't want to be dead." Blah, 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 blah. No, that's you having a dream about them. There's a huge, huge difference. So, no, if you're dreaming about somebody that's crossed over, like I said, they're going to be happy. They're going to be looking really good. They'll be around other people that they know or maybe you know. So, no, that's the way that works.
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of people were like, "It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life." And they're like, best movie at all time. So,
Yeah, yeah. Good old Clarence,
um,
which I think is
uh,
funny because Clarence was the name of that ghost at that house, wasn't it?
Clarence, yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. Huh? I just thought of that.
And a lot of people said who they are not coming back
Yeah.
next
Well,
lifetime.
like I said, everybody when you die, depending on what baggage you're taking with you, which level are you entering? If you're fine with it, you don't have to come back. But if you want to
Mhm.
go higher, then you have to come back and fix what you didn't do right in the last time. So, and you don't have to if you don't want to.
Right. I'm done. Um, Adam says, is it good luck if a stray black cat shows up at your door and comes into your house? You know what? Americans are the only ones that consider black cats unlucky. Every other culture considers them lucky. And let's face it, it's an animal who's hungry. Like,
That's right.
but always putting way reaching, metaphysical stuff on common everyday occurrences. Do you feed other stray cats? Are you known for being an animal person? Do animals naturally gravitate to you? It could be something as simple as that. Um, but yeah, like Japan, China, like so many European, especially Far East, like black cats are considered lucky. We're the idiots that
I
got
think it's
wrong.
probably only America that won't let, from any humane society, will not let a black cat be adopted during the Halloween season because there's
Yeah,
ignorant people out there.
yeah,
So, and we have to protect them, or
yeah,
they have to protect them.
right. Um, I mean, my two black cats are well, I only have one at a time, but I mean, they are the most lovable, chunky cuddlers out there. Um, and your boys, they're more gray though, but they're
Yeah, our
pretty.
boys are gray, but no, but ours have those green eyes because they're Russian. So they've got those, we're part Russian, so they've got those really green eyes.
Mm, they're pretty.
That's spooky at dusk when you're walking through the house and you see these two green eyes looking at you.
Yeah, Sith has the yellow, but with the green around, uh, the pupil
The
there.
iris, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he's a pretty boy. Um, Don says, I'm going to become a perpetual customer at the Dunkin' Donuts in heaven. Mr. Miyagi had asked, what happens when an earthbound from a portal tries to leave the home or building they enter? Is there an energy barrier?
There is. They cannot walk out. They cannot walk through any entrance to get out. They, like I said, come in, make the white light, let them go into that, or they have to jump back in their portal. There's no in between for once they come out of a portal.
So Marie asks, if I used to have dreams of a loved one who passed away but don't anymore, does that mean they may have reincarnated?
Yes, that's a possibility, but there's always a part that still stays that you will dream about. I know my father is reincarnated and I know who he is in this life, but I still dream of him. So it's not one or the other. It's encompasses a whole lot.
Mm. Now, Amanda says, I hope Ted Bundy is stuck in the portals. I don't want to meet him in the light.
You know, believe me, there are some that have come out of this light. They are really nasty. They did heinous things when they were alive, and they still think that they can get the live people to do it or cause all kinds of problems. As a matter of fact, not today, because today's just questions on YouTube, but next week I'm going to be doing houses or stories of houses that had really nasty spirits in the house from a portal and what they were doing to the people in the house. And this is from infants to senior citizens.
Now, that's the thing, though. Yeah, you don't want them trapped in the portal. You would want them to go ahead and cross over into the light and go through the.
Chances are I'll run across them in some other house. Okay, let's go back to Margie's house. That man, Clarence, that was in her house, knew there were portals and houses on that street, that he had been in other houses on that street.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she didn't, well, I don't think she did, but say she went next door to the neighbor that owns all these houses and told her. There's a very good possibility that that person said, would you go close that portal? Clarence could be there again. He absolutely could. I've always wondered if I was ever going to see that one that flipped that axe at me. The picture is in the books, but I've never seen him, and I'm shocked because and see, he was a nasty ghost, but didn't come. He wasn't in the portal. There can be ghosts that are not very nice that aren't in the portal. The ones in the portal are always nasty, though.
Mm. Let's see. Oh, Karen says, I'm taking my Earthbound tuxedo cat with me, scooping up the fur babies when I cross over.
I know so many people that have their pets' ashes mixed with theirs when they get cremated. So they're all going together.
Sandy Claus James Mead says, when I cross over, can I choose those I want to see? Can I avoid someone who may want to see me?
You can, but keep this in mind. If they're in the light, they've learned whatever lesson they had to learn by the time you die and you get there. So maybe it won't be as bad as you think it might be running into somebody. I mean, I've actually tricked people into going into the light because they were mad at somebody that died. And I said, I'm not going to the light. Oh no, I'm not going. I don't want to go there. I don't want to see so and so. And so it's like, yeah, but if you go, maybe you can get in there and really tell them off now. Oh, you got to trick them a little bit. Just a little bit.
Let's see. Renee, it's like, how did you find your dad when he reincarnated? Like, how did you know it was him?
Keep this in mind. When you reincarnate, you always come back with the same circle of people that you have lived with before. So, dad is actually a relative. Another, I just noticed when this child was 2 and 3 and 4 years old, things that she would do that my father used to do when he was alive. And eventually there was no doubt about it that that is definitely who it is. So,
Hmm. And then Sherry asks, do entities ever try to impersonate family members?
oh yeah, you can be down the basement and you hear footsteps across and you go, "Hey, hon, are you home?" And you hear, "Yep." And you think, "Huh, I wonder why he's home from work." And you go up the steps and nobody's there.
Hmm.
And so, yes, they can do that. They really like to do it at night, though, the most when you hear your babies or kids crying. They'll make that noise, a crying sound where you think it's one of your children that's crying.
Well, I know before you cleared my house, you got rid of that guy, but you had mentioned that there was that lady in the town that would go around and just gather gossip information. And before you cleared and put the seeds up, she would imitate my voice, because the kids would come in and they would be like, "What?" I'm like, "What are you?" They're like, "You keep calling us." I'm like, "Nope." And my friend Rhonda had spent the night a couple times, and after I went to bed, the next morning she'd be like, "Why?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "I stood at the bottom of your stairs and was like, what do you want?" She's like, "Because you kept calling. It was you kept calling me and I thought you were messing with me." And I'm like, "No, it wasn't me." So yeah,
Yeah,
that
and
lady was pretty
again,
good.
think about it. It's so simple. You run around, well, who's calling me? Where is it? Look at the energy you put out. This is exactly what they wanted, so they're sucking right up on it.
Hmm. City says, if you forgive someone after they pass, but they still don't come into your dreams, assuming they went into the light, is there still a way to fix the relationship with them?
Yes, when they come in the dreams, you can apologize that way if you want. You can, who you do dream of, say you don't, there was a third friend that you guys hung up. Have that friend talk to the one that's not talking to you in the light and say, "Hey, she's sorry. She wants to talk to you. Go see her." So, yeah, no. But really, once people get to the light, they're really very forgiving. You don't carry those kind of grudges. I only a couple of times where I've seen, and once was on Zoom a couple weeks ago.
Hmm.
Her mother-in-law went into the light, but she was still teasing her. Let's put it that way, which was I don't see that very often.
Hmm. Let's see. Joe asks, morning, ladies. Can one person see an earthbound spirit in the home, but another person who lives in the house can't? Can the spirit keep returning? And I'm like, you've got the perfect example. You can, Ted can't. One daughter can, one daughter can.
Exactly, exactly. And it's they can look at pictures and see orbs because all houses have orbs in them, and those are the good ones. But no, and it's funny, the one that can't, as soon as the daughter that can or I or standing around or we're someplace, and I look and I don't know, I try not to stare because it doesn't always work. And they'll go, "Oh, so, who's there, Mom? Who's there?" So yeah, but some people see it. It's like some people do and some people don't do a whole lot of stuff.
Hmm. Vicky uh, says, can people reincarnate into the past? My dad would have chosen the Wild West. Love John Wayne in the cowboy movies.
I don't think they can go backwards, but he probably should have been regressed when he was alive. Maybe he was a cowboy back then. People bring
Mm.
stuff with them, and if you like cowboys so much, it very well could be that that's something that he did in one of his past lives.
Linda asks, any idea how to be sure to fulfill our purpose here so we can't have to reincarnate or know what the purpose is even?
I think when you get to a certain age, you can pretty much figure out who you've been nice to and who you haven't, or who hasn't been nice to you or who has. And I think sometimes it's a matter of who's the bigger person to say, break it and get back together, or maybe not be friends, but at least be acquaintances. So, but I'm going to guess maybe people like Mother Teresa. Uh, I'm going to guess the saints, but I don't think any regular person that walks on this earth today is a saint. I mean, we live in a very rough world right now, so nobody's happy about anything.
And a very important question that has not been asked today. Where's Lewis?
Probably busy on his sewing machine.
I bet that. Let's see. Okay. Can you have a walk-in sharing your body after an operation? How can you tell?
Yeah, that is actually one way where a walk-in can get in, and this would not be a walk-in. If it was a walk-in, that means you died. But if a person comes in your body when you're in an operation, that's a possession. Two different things. A walk-in is only one spirit in the body, whether it's yours or not. A possession is two spirits in your body. One is you and one who is ever that came in. So there's your difference.
Marnie says, after my dad died, he was in my dream every night, but in the background and never spoke. Any thoughts?
Okay, most people lay in dream and wait for the person in the dream to talk to them. Sometimes you have to start the conversation. When you see him in a dream, if it's somebody you know, say, Dad, I see you. How are you? Blah, blah, blah. Say whatever you want to see. If you start it, then they will usually chime in. Um, Somebody that's in a dream, say your great 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 grandmother wanted to visit you, and she shows up in a dream, and you have no clue who this lady is. She looks sweet, she looks nice, she's smiling at you, and just say, who are you? And she'll tell you who she is. So sometimes you have to do the asking first, or start the conversation.
Cindy asks, Marianne, have Earthbounds ever come to you during our show here that we're doing and try to get your attention? Sometimes it looks like you're listening to more.
No, the Zoom I can. I've never seen anybody down around where you are in Arizona, I don't think. And if I was on the phone with you, if you had something there, I could probably tell you. But I don't think I've never seen anybody on Zoom. And I get quiet because I'm trying how to properly answer something. I could just come off with an answer off the top of my head, but it's probably not what you want to hear.
Well, right. Tactfulness.
Yeah, right. Yeah, everything has got to be politically correct now.
Well, Dawn says, I won't be here next Wednesday. I'm starting a new job next week, so I'll have to watch it afterwards. Well, congratulations.
Good for you on your new job. That's great.
So a lot of congratulations there. Um, So Patrick asks, can Earthbounds go exploring places like the depths of the ocean or go underground through the earth to like the center?
Apparently they can. I knew a ghost. That sounds crazy. I knew a ghost that said that there. Now I'm just repeating what I was told. I had no idea. But apparently, in the center of the earth, according to this ghost, there is a whole life system in the center of the earth. And I mean, I don't know if this ghost watched a whole bunch of those underground movies when he was alive. I don't know, but he was one of these people that wanted to go under, or and he said there is stuff there. I'm not going to say no to that because Ted, my husband, he can astroplane to other planets, which he has done. So why not?
Mm.
I just the idea of somebody keeping the world turning, Earth turning from the center of the Earth is that's above my imagination. I can't go there.
Ah, do, 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 do. Um, Denise says, do you know, I've already consigned myself to going to hell or somewhere because if I see my parents in heaven, I don't want to be around them. I would miss other people I would like to be around. Can I stay away from my parents? That's kind of like that same question from earlier, but
Right. And I believe you can, but again, keep in mind that if your parents are in the light, that whatever you didn't like about them probably is they're probably not doing that anymore. So what you might have to do is go into the light, meet up with them one time and see if they're better. And if not, say, you stay on that side of the cloud and I'll stay on this side.
um, if you were reincarnated, Marianne, would you still have your gift or no memory of it at all?
Many, many years ago, when I was in my 20s, I was looking for an answer to something very specific. I couldn't find it. And besides asking the question to myself, why can I do this? This is making my life miserable. And so I got regressed. I hit a number of lives, and I could do something in each life, some kind of a metaphysical thing in each life. I I mean I was the magician in a court in like the 12th century. So, yeah, I think you bring stuff with you all the time. Again, my father, I'll use my father as my father could do electric, he could do change a furnace, he could do plumbing, he could fix your car. My father could do all of that stuff. But it was like, how much of that stuff did he bring with him from a past life? You
Hmm.
bring stuff with you. And he certainly didn't go to school for all that stuff. My God, he was born in 1919. So that's not, things and, but he was like, what do they say? Master of, I forget
I
what that
think
was.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Kind of like
forget.
right.
Right, right. So, and I think everybody brings something with them from a past life. I really do.
Um, Gina says, Marianne, when you were filming Ghost Whisperer, how was Jennifer Love's Hewlett reaction to what you can do? Did she think it was actually just a fiction based or that you
No,
weren't?
she didn't. She actually, when the very first time I met her at her house, and we walked in, and she was just in a sweatshirt and then a pair of jeans, and I mean, her hair was in a ponytail, no makeup. She looked like a regular person. And I sat down. I was with James von Prague, and we sat down at the table. And she goes, "I know there's a ghost in this house. I can feel him watching me." So she already knew something was going on, and she was 100% right. I have to admit, though, after 5 years of the show running, Love got to the point where she actually thought that she could help people get rid of their ghosts. I, I don't know if it was osmosis or what, but she thought she could do it. And she would call me. She goes, "Will you send me quinces?" It's like, yeah, okay, why? And she goes, "Well, my hairdresser's got something going on in their house that I'm going to go." Okay. You just back off. I don't say anything.
Hmm, let's see. Well,
Of
can
course,
you
the
think?
hairdresser called 3 weeks later and said, "This house is terrible. I don't know what love did."
Uh-oh.
See, if you don't know what you're doing, you can make it worse.
Trap them in, piss them off, all sorts of fun things.
Can you
But Cindy says,
go?
can you develop the ability to see ghosts past childhood?
I don't believe so. I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody can. I don't know.
Oh, excuse me. Poor coffee is needed. Well, I made one before we went live, and the way I'm having to hold my iPad, I can't.
You can't drink it.
It's so close and yet so far away. Well, thank you, Cindy. Just love your hair color, by the way, today, which it's probably pretty faded after being in the sun for.
Yeah, but it looks pretty though.
Thank you. We've kind of talked on certain other little metaphysical beings, but never dragons and unicorns.
Again, well, dragons. You know what? Let's be honest. I bet somebody's imagination just turned a dinosaur into a dragon. I mean, if you think about it, there's very similar. But I think there's some truth to any of that folklore. And over the years, I mean, it's just changed and changed where we're so because we're so sophisticated now, we couldn't possibly believe in that. Ah, baloney. Believe in whatever you want.
um, oh, and our friend Lunel from Saudi was able to join us. Hello. Now, pardon me, to be honest, Marianne. I know you've said before about vampires and everything that those are more. I would have said dragons would be more real than an actual vampire. Like out of the whole playing field of
Okay.
being, you know,
Right.
I'm kind of surprised that you haven't ran into one yet. I mean, I don't
If
think
I
I
have,
have
they've
either.
never told me
All of,
that's what they were, so I don't know.
yeah, I'm like, if I had to bet on like what's real, what's not, I would have been like, oh, dragon, yes, vampire, yeah, you know.
I
So,
ran across ghosts that had died from, and I do not know what the name is called when people actually drink human blood. It does affect you badly, and you can
mhm.
die from that. And I've run across people who said they were vampires and drank blood. And because the spirit is not maimed, but this one particular man actually had I don't know how what kind of a dentist makes you fangs. I don't know, but he actually had dental work done to that he had permanent fangs in his mouth.
Mhm.
His spirit did not have that because again, the spirit doesn't have the disabilities like that, the physical. But he said, "Oh, I had fangs. I was a vampire." I went, "Yeah, and you died from drinking blood. You weren't a very good vampire."
Oh, right, yeah, that
No,
it's not a good thing to do. The body
right,
is not to
right.
digest that. Um, and it's even funny, well, not funny, um, how some cultures who actually participate in cannibalism, like the constant consuming of human flesh actually starts to cause mental, like brain issues where the brain stops functioning properly. And
Right.
um, so yeah, we are not meant to be cannibalistic.
No. And cannibals in the regions and where they were from or originally from, their lifespan was very short.
Mhm.
I mean, it was harsh where they lived anyway, but because of what they ate, it was bad.
Mhm. And I think Don was saying like prion disease, I think is what
Oh,
happens there.
yeah, I think you're right.
Um, so definitely, because there are some like some of the Aboriginals, colonies where they will eat a small portion of either somebody that they capture or kill, or sometimes kind of. It always reminds me of Highlander, to take in like somebody who like family member dies and so they consume a piece of them to keep them with them. And I'm like, this isn't Highlander. This isn't how it works. You don't keep accumulating your ancestors through eating them.
But I think people got to the point where they started substituting something you could eat
Mm-hmm.
when you go to communion.
Uh-huh.
You're supposed to be taking in the body and blood of Jesus. So, but you're not physically eating that. But again, it represents that. And I think luckily things changed around and that's what it came to, which was good.
Right. And I'm only smirking because do you ever watch the comedian Dane Cook ever? Like his stand-ups from way back when?
I don't
One
do
of his first ones
comedians.
had to do with going to church as a kid and everything. And the whole communion thing, he would call them Christ checks, you know. So now I always think of the little wafers as Christ checks.
Well, it's really funny. It was about 10 years ago. I don't know if they were Serbian or Ukrainian, Romanian, one of those countries that's fighting right now, okay, over there. And I did her house, and she says, "Oh, I got something for you as a little thank you." And she says, "But open it up when you go home." And I said, "Okay." And so I came home, and it was like a padded envelope, not a big one, just a little padded envelope. And inside was a pretty picture of Jesus on a very ornate envelope, and inside were wafers that the circle is made out of. But this was like a wafer about this big with a stamped picture of Jesus on it. And I'm looking at that, and 12, 13 years of Catholic schools. Oh my God. It is like, should I even have this? Shouldn't this belong in a church somewhere? It's like, oh my gosh. And it was sitting here, and I don't know which one of the kids walked in and opened it up and put it back on the table. She goes, "What are you doing with Jesus on your table?" I said, "It's just a wafer. It's not Jesus." But it's just the idea of it was really strange. I don't know what that nationality does with it. It was around Easter, though, so maybe it had something to do with that. I don't know.
It's like you had contraband Christ.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I think Lisa saw that stand up. She's like, Christ checks the holy way to start the day.
Exactly. Just rip
It's
off a
one of
little
his, if anybody
corner.
wants to go back and find it, it's one of his old ones. And it was one of the first times I had seen a comedian that could get me laughed where I was like crying. And, I have been confirmed. I didn't do the whole like many years of Catholic school, but I did confirmation. Mom went to, so just listening to that and laughing and finding humor in it and knowing my mom, if she were there watching it with me, would just be, oh,
Well, my grandmother, my mother, they would have been mortified, absolutely mortified. You don't do that.
Yeah.
Even when we didn't have to wear a hat to church anymore, my mother still made us wear our chapel caps. The little lace things that look like a doily that you put on. My mother didn't care what the church said. We still had to wear it. So,
old habits die hard, man.
oh, so hard.
Somebody, Lisa Contraband Christ.
I still have that. I still have that somewhere.
So you never ate?
No, are you crazy? I would never eat it. No.
Oh, Sandy says you can order the wafers online now.
No, you're kidding me. Oh, see, that's so
I'm kind
wrong.
of tempted to order Contraband Christ. Just
So wrong.
You're like, look what I got. I got Jesus in the mail today.
Oh, we're gonna go to hell. Stop.
I probably went to hell when I was laughing at the comedy stuff. Somebody asked if you've ever seen Elvis, and then somebody else was like, "Of course not, because he's still alive."
So they say, where's he supposed to be living? In Michigan somewhere?
Oh, I don't know. I've
Yeah,
heard
that's
some
what I
people.
heard last. He was last spotted, I think, in Michigan, Ann Arbor, I believe. The last
I
I
just want to go
heard.
to Ann Arbor.
I,
Like,
hiding, that would be a good place, right? We have to ask Dana from Michigan if she ever saw Elvis. I always, when I went to New York, when I had to go to see my publisher in New York, they always put me up at the same hotel that Cary Grant stayed at and John Lennon. And oh my gosh, you have no idea. I'm not a person that likes to go in hotels by myself at night. I hate walking down hallways in hotels with all those doors. They
mhm.
usually have weird carpet on the floor that if you're looking at it, it makes you dizzy. And it's like anybody could open one of these doors and just pull you in. I just hate by myself. And it was so funny because I when I go by myself, I was like, I want a room closest to the elevator. And they go, but that's the noisiest room in the place. Yeah, but that's okay. That's the room I want because I don't have to walk down a hallway. And I swear that's why ghosts scare you so bad in hotels because they do make noises in hallways. I can see them, so it's like, knock it off. That's what but most people don't know that.
Mm. Okay. Uh, it says a shaman told me a hag that he described as an ugly witch was trying to build a portal in my basement. What was that? A demonic entity.
A hag is definitely one of the, well, you can't call them a wee folk, but they are one of those people that do definitely exist out of another plane. And a live person can blow open a portal with negative energy, but you can't make a portal or with your hands or anything like that. So I'm not exactly sure what the shaman was talking about. Every religious sect has something different, similar but different. So I don't know what they were teaching. I have no idea.
Mm. Oh, and apparently Elvis lives in Arkansas now.
Oh, thank you so much for letting us know. Okay.
Oh, and it's funny because a lot of people have seen the Dane Cook. They're
A
talking
what?
about that Dane Cook special, and it's
Oh,
like
oh, okay.
Christ check. She opened the box, and the angels come out and yell, "Good morning," and then she feel the bells. So
That's cute. Okay.
I'm gonna have to find that for you, and at some point, like share a link
Don't
or
you
something.
think it's funny that nobody has made angel cereal?
I'm sure those big companies want nothing to do with the backlash.
Probably not. Probably not. I was shocked. I hardly watch TV, but there was an advertisement on for, and what caught my ear was magic cereal.
Hmm.
I thought, what is magic cereal? And here's a commercial for three different types of cereal that is carb free cereal that adults can eat now with their keto.
Oh,
It's like magic. Okay. It's probably magic if it works.
um, let's see. Oh, Sandy's husband has worked in a few haunted hotels and talking about that. And um, for a little bit there, we were even trying to scheme on how to like hold an event at one of them, and it was parking that was going to be kind of an issue because it's
At a
downtown.
hotel?
Yeah, well, downtown Cleveland, near
Oh,
the
no, no. Yeah.
thing.
Oh, I've
Um,
been hired to do hotels. It is a day, 2 day, 3 day job, depending on how many rooms in the hotel.
oh, I
And
bet.
oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. And I never thought about it, but every room, the one hotel, 317 rooms, every room got seeds on them. Then figured it out. Ted came to me and he said, that side of the hotel, they all have balconies. So the one whole side all had to be done because of the balconies.
Oh man,
Oh no. Yeah.
that's horrible. You have to go back and redo all of that, right? And
Well,
then,
Ted caught it, and we just stayed longer and redid it. But and I wouldn't. I mean, I don't feel comfortable. Neither Ted or I'll walk through somebody's house by ourselves. I, you don't know us. We're not going to walk through your house. And but this hotel manager gives me this pass key, and he says, just knock, say hotel, and go in any room. And I looked at him. I said, no, 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 somebody from the hotel's got to be with us. He said, no, no, that's ridiculous. They're not in their rooms. They're out, doing their thing. No, no. And so, very first room we went into, I don't know, I don't do that, but they were gone. They were gone for the day because the room, the sitting on their dresser was a watch and change and a ring and a couple folded money clips with money in them. I'm thinking, and they wanted me to come in these rooms by myself, or see, I wouldn't even do that. So
mhm.
that's what I'm always looking for, though, in those hotels in New York. I'm always looking for Cary Grant or John Lennon or somebody like that. Never found them.
Hmm. Well, hopefully they've crossed over. They're not bopping around still. Um, I mean, you've kind of answered this one here and there, sort of. It says, have you ever come across a ghost that has said something like, I'm following a serial killer, or this person is doing this, and, could you contact the police? You've told the story about the lady who was upstairs whose son was cashing her checks and stuff.
Right, right. But they'll have me get hold of the police more if there is an unsolved crime. Like if I'm in somebody's house and somebody was murdered 40 or 50 years ago. Actually, it was down in Ohio City. There's a couple of bars down there. And this one guy, there's a piano bar down there. And this one guy had me come in, and something nasty was in there. And I remember thinking to myself, and Ted was working full time. This was many years ago. And so I had a friend that was a lady detective. And I said, what day are you off this week? So she came with me. Because if I think it's a sketchy area, I'm not going to go by myself. And so went in, the ghost was really nice and was talking and everything, and said, can you please get a hold of the police? You need to go up in the attic and you need to see what's up in the attic. And so I didn't say anything. I, I said to the cop, the detective that was with me, I said, um, I want to see the attic. And the guy that owned the place said, I've owned this place 5 years. I've never been up there. I don't know. I get that answer so many times when I ask people about their attics. I don't know. I've lived here 20 years. I've never been up there. That's one of the first things that we do whenever we bought a house. We went upstairs to see what the inside of the attic looked like, if it was leaking or what was left in it. But some people just don't open the door. And we went up there. So he brought a ladder and we went up in that attic. There were hooks hanging from the ceiling where this guy had put people up there and tortured them. And this ghost knew where two of the bodies were buried. And I was with the detective. It was perfect. But I have had ghosts tell me where people are dead or buried where I've gotten hold of the cops.
All in
I have
Ohio.
a very crazy life. There's no doubt about it. Of course, that bar owner gave us a really nice bottle of wine, both of us. That was really nice when we left. But that's beside the point.
Right. Oh my goodness. So, and somebody just asked, have you ever ran across a serial killer? And I'm like, well, you kind of just said that you did. Maybe
Yeah,
not
I
the
did a
ghost.
house out in Crestline. I think that's the name of it. And this guy was a serial killer from a portal in their house, and he was a serial killer. he was a serial killer that 6 different states were looking. He had killed in 6 different states, and this was in this kid's house. They had just gotten married. Oh God, and it was not in what this guy was doing to these kids was bad, but definitely he was a serial killer. I've run more than one.
So obviously, this is not a killer people would have known about, because if they were still looking for him, these were all unsolved.
That's right. Well, they knew who it was. They just couldn't find him,
Mm,
and they
okay.
didn't know he. They did not know he was dead. So I contacted my connections here in my connection at the FBI, and so they knew he was dead. Luckily, they believe me. So they actually knew he was dead, and he knew where his body was. So, and that helped. He was in a cave. His body was in a cave, actually. It's okay, but
Hopefully, a bear ate him.
no, he was murdered by somebody else. His
Oh, well,
friend.
that works.
Yeah,
No
his
judgment.
best friend killed him, so that was good. Yeah, no.
My goodness. Because of course, being a true crime fan, I'm immediately, and I'm like, no, you said they were still looking.
Yeah,
He's
well,
not.
they until I told them they had been still looking for him. Yeah, he did this in this
My goodness.
through the. This was a while ago. We did this through the '70s, where he was killing people.
What was with the late 60s and the 70s that was like the golden era?
LSD,
Serial killers galore. The
LSD.
hell?
They wrecked themselves. Now it's crack, but back then it was LSD.
Um, oh, somebody just asked if I'm wearing hematite because my hand went across. I wear hematite rings on my thumbs, but my bracelets are not. They're magnetic metal, which I kind of didn't believe in the whole helping you balance until, I kind of put one on, and I'm like, huh, I'm a little less clumsy.
Some things
A little
work.
less Me too, Karen, but unfortunately, Marion said, I just said, I hope a bear or a wolf ate that jackass.
Yeah, that would have been nice, but you know
Uh,
what? In all honesty, I think it hurt him more by his best friend doing it, which was, I think that was nice justice.
and I kind of hope, and I don't know, because usually you have to have similar personalities, right? So, what kind of personality was this best friend? Was this somebody who was into the same type of behavior, or was kind of duped by the masking, the false personality, when they found out what this guy really was up to? Kind of
Apparently,
lured
they
him.
had grown up together, and they knew each other many, many years. And he was only about 40, 42, 44 when he got killed. So the thing that, you give him the killer, you tell him where he's buried or where his body is, and nobody is ever happy with just that, including cops and FBI. And it's like, well, where's the guy that killed him? It's like, what? You said his best friend killed him. Where's the guy that killed him? Well, I don't know where he's at. He didn't tell me. And on honesty, I didn't ask, you know. And then you get, well, can we call this guy back and figure out? It's like, no, we can't call him back.
Did he actually go into the light?
He did.
Oh.
He did. Yeah.
I wonder if they were looking for the best friend to make sure he wasn't off continuing,
Other
similar
stuff. Yeah.
behavior.
I don't know. And so, like I said, this whole thing from the very beginning has been, so anytime I would run across anything since then, it's like, well, do you know where the person is that killed you? Or who killed you? I do ask that question now, but that's a question I didn't ask back then. I don't have a book. I didn't have a book to read, an instruction booklet. It was like, fly by the seat of your pants and figure out what you're doing.
Right, right. Here's how you interrogate the dead.
Yeah, right. Okay. And you're not being mean, even though they look sad. So,
It's like you need the like the handbook from Beetlejuice, for the dead people. Did you remember that movie? What was it
I've
called?
never seen Beetlejuice. I don't know.
Oh my God. How? What?
I
Why?
don't watch any of that stuff.
But it's supposed to like how to be dead.
How to be
Um,
dead. Okay.
but
That's
and they
interesting.
fumble with it for a little bit because they're like, this reads like stereo instructions. But I'm like, you need to make a handbook for like the next person. Here's what you ask. Here's how you do this, and follow
Right.
up. Um,
It's gotten to the point where I know when I'm sitting there and they're talking to me when I first walk in, there's the top 10 questions that everybody asks every ghost that's in their house. And as soon as they ask me that question, I've talked to the ghost, I can give them the answer immediately. And, so that set of questions is like just right in my brain. It doesn't differ, it's always the same. But then there's other questions that they want to know. So
mhm.
some lady I was at yesterday, she said the ghost in her house, his name was Oscar. She goes, "What a stupid name." I said, "Okay." She goes, "Why did his mother name him Oscar?" I said, "Is that your best question? Give me a better one."
Of all the things to ask.
Ask, why did his, I don't know. He doesn't know. Why did my mother name me Marianne? I don't know. She liked
Right.
it.
See, now I have to wonder how you haven't seen the movie. Poodle Pants has the right answer. Handbook for the recently deceased.
Okay. Well, she would know.
But yeah. Now, and then somebody else asked, Nancy, how long did it take to build a rapport with the law enforcement contacts? I guess they were very doubtful until what info you gave them turned out to be accurate.
It turned out that I became really tight with them when one of the detectives called because they thought they had a problem in their house. And she wouldn't tell me her last name, which I don't usually ask anyway. And she did give me her address. She wouldn't tell me what she did, and which is fine. It's okay. I don't need to know where you work, but I would like to know the type of work. Like if you work in a hospital, that gives me an idea. Well, maybe somebody followed you home from the hospital. You're a cop. Somebody followed you home from the jail. So she called me up. She says, "Can I have one of my friends here?" And I said, "Yeah." Turns out that both of them were lady detectives. And the ghost that was in this lady's house was her and another lady were in a car accident. And the car was so badly smashed and everybody was such parts and pieces and thrown around, they didn't know who was driving the car.
Hmm.
So this ghost said to me, "Will you tell that stupid blankety blank 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 I was not driving the car when we got killed?" I have no idea what this ghost is talking about. I don't know. I'm talking to cops. They're just some ladies living in a house in North Olmsted. What do I know? And I said to her, I said, "Why would you explain to me?" She goes, "She's a detective. She's a cop. They both are." I went, "Oh, okay." So I knew her name. She told me her name. Both of these, I thought these women were going to fall off their chairs. And I said, "There you go. That's what it is." And the word spread after that. That it
Hmm.
just, and then I had gotten called by the state police first and then by the FBI. I'm waiting to be called by NCIS. I would love to do something for them. I had my picture taken by the NCIS sign at Quantico. I stood there by
Oh,
this.
oh, really?
I did.
Really?
And Ted actually has an official NCIS cap. But I've never worked for them. I've just given them information. But I would like to do something for them one day, find some of those weird people. Of course, I'm
But
sure it wouldn't be Jethro Gibbs. I'm sure
I
it
was
would
going to
be,
say, don't you want to?
yeah,
I
it
would
would be some,
to be working with the Quantico and the
yeah.
behavioral and the
No,
VAU.
it would be like the very first time I did any work for the FBI. He said, I'm going to have a couple of my buddies over. He worked for the FBI. I said, okay. It was a house in Strongsville. Went in there. There's about 10 men in there in suits. They're all sitting around this table drinking coffee. And I walk in and I look at all these guys, the brown shoes, the suit, the white shirt, the tie, the short haircut. And I sat down and he said, these are some of my friends. I says, no, they're not. He says, they're all FBI agents. And they all looked at me. I said, you all look alike. It looks like you all went to the same Catholic school. I said, it was like a bunch of dicks. So it's ridiculous.
They weren't fooling you.
One little bit. So, and that spread, and these guys get transferred, and that's what happens.
Mm. Amanda says South Carolina cops ought to be calling you about that Murdoch case.
Some of these big ones, I really wish they would. Like John Bonet, nobody ever called me about her. And you know, I I don't know if I could have given them any information or not. But there are a lot of big cases like that. And I know the Murdoch, I watched that on TV. Yeah, that's not good.
Mm. Sorry, I was reading a really long thing here. Um, and Cam, it sounds like you would need to join one of the Zooms, which the next one is on the 21st, to see what might be going on in your house. Through this platform, Marianne can't tell if anything is in your house because you can see us, we can't see you. But the next one is the 21st, which is a Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you are not in Eastern Standard Time, make sure you do your time adjustment. Everybody gets to ask 2 questions, which is usually, is there anything in my house? You can also ask if there's a portal, if you have negative energy. But those are the 3. So you can pick 2 out of any of that. And it is limited. So.
And it is interesting. The last one was, we were so surprised. We had somebody on from Australia, from Japan, and from Mexico. And I think this Friday that's closed, I think Japan is back on again.
Oh, we'll have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun. Slosh is asking, is there any way to stream this and ask questions? That's what we're doing right now. We're live right now. So depending on maybe where you might be and if there's a lag, we are live. This is streamed not only to like 4 different locations on Facebook, but to YouTube channels. So I'm filtering all of that while we're talking, which is why sometimes I'm a little lost when I'm like, oh, she asked me something. She stopped talking as I'm reading what the next ones are going to be. Oh, and see Sandy. Sandy's been on Zoom. Zoom is the way to go. It's so good.
And she did so good.
She did. She filled in for
She
me
did
while I was
very
flying
good.
into
Yes.
So yeah, we usually offer Zoom twice a month, once on a Friday and once on a Monday. Hopefully it fits somebody's work schedule, depending. But we do this chat, which is live every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. It's only been a handful of times where we weren't able to do it. And both of us had medical stuff going on, so for each one. But yeah, can ask questions during the Wednesday chats. Oh, Sandy said, "Aw, shucks." What are other good questions during the Zoom calls? Well, the whole point of the Zoom calls is if you want to know if you have something going on in your house. So that's usually what we're hearing, because there's something going on. People want to know, they want a confirmation. And if so, what to do about it. the fun questions like today happen on the Wednesday chats. So what is done on Zoom is kept to that Zoom. We don't air that out. We don't replay that. You will not know what's happening in somebody's house unless you're on that Zoom. So,
And the
which
good
usually are.
thing, yeah, and the good thing is, for especially because of out of town or because of the COVID, not being able to go into people's houses, if it's
Mhm.
determined, if it's the negative energy or ghosts or a curse or little folk or whatever's going on, at least I can give you different things you can try to take care of it. And it's been working really well. I mean, across the United States, people have actually gotten their houses clear. I mean, I'm really so glad that it's working because, age, because I'm certainly not getting any younger every day, and the COVID and flying and weather, it's really, I don't go across country like I used to anymore. I just,
Right.
it's too hard. And so this works. So, I guess what they say, when one door closes, another one opens. And that's what happened here.
Mhm. Um, Severe asks on the Zoom, do we just ask if we have something going on? You can. Some people have blatantly just said, is there anything in my
Right.
house?
What do you need to tell me? Right. And then I'll
Hmm.
usually ask a question or two and try to get, zeroed in on exactly what it is that's going on. And, the best news I can give somebody, your house is clear, you have no ghosts, there's no negative energy, this is just life, it'll pass. That
Hmm.
happens maybe out of two of the 25 people, usually something.
Right.
I mean, if you finally spend the $20 to come on Zoom, it's usually it helps whatever you think the problem. You wouldn't get on Zoom if you didn't think there was a problem. Now, once houses have been cleared on Zoom, some of these people still show up because they think it's better entertainment than TV. And so, but at least, but people have really, really, they've benefited by this, I think.
Hmm. Well, and it's kind of a good thing to know too. Like you're not the only one that has things. You're not crazy. Other people go through the same thing.
Right.
So, you're not alone. So it's not like you're a pariah if you do happen to have a ghost. So,
Right, right. Why don't you say something about the seminary? Because I think we're about done.
okay. And let's answer Slosh's question real quick, just because we told him that it was live and we've not had this question. Does gridding your house with black obsidian actually keep mean spirits out?
No, that's it. No,
No.
nope.
Um, I own at a physical store and I sell tons of crystals and gemstones and I'm like none. Not gonna lie. I'm not gonna none.
None.
I mean, those
There's
rocks
some
come out of the ground.
right. There's some
And
protection
you
with
walk
anything like that, right? But no, I don't think there's a stone strong enough to keep out an earthbound
hmm.
spirit, let alone a bad one.
Right, right. Well, and like I tell people, those stones come out of the earth. You can wander all over the earth, so can the ghost. And they don't avoid certain patches of certain states just because there might be an obsidian mine underneath the ground. Um, so
There's some
yeah.
stones they don't care for, but that doesn't mean they're not going to still be around them. Trying to protect a piece of property, you can always use coarse sea salt to put on the property line. They can cross way high, but to walk over it, it would be, I don't, it's not comfortable for them. If you add moonstones to that, sometimes it'll increase the protection a little, but it's not 100%. No.
Hmm. Okay, so March 19th, if you want to come out to Madison Seminary and ghost hunt with Marianne, that would be the day to come out. We have from 5 to 8 p.m. available, and then 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. So you get to pick which time slot you'd like to come out and join in the activities. But that is March 19th, the month after. We have the Merry-Go-Round Museum out in Sandusky. So, and there'll be some more coming. I will admit, since I've been down here in Arizona and running around, I haven't really done any more planning on that because this has just been chaos down here. But there are some other locations that will be coming up for late summer into fall. So, but the first one, Madison Seminary, March 19th. So this will be fun. This place has been on multiple haunted TV shows and ghost hunting shows. So there's much to be seen here in this location. So come join us and meet some of the online friends in person. That's one thing that I always hear is, oh, it was so nice to meet so and so in person, or to see the face. So
Yeah, it's nice when people come in and say, I listen to you guys every Wednesday morning. And it's nice for us to put, you're right, a name and a face together.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, join us out at the seminary. Coming up here soon, February 19th, Marion will be in the store. The 4:30 to 5:30, no cost. Just come in, grab Quincy, get your book signed, buy books, buy your blessed salt soap, and all the other things. And then at 6 o'clock is a paid event with Marianne after we close. So a few ways to come see Marianne in person, get your quinceads.
Just keep your fingers crossed on the weather.
Mm-hmm.
February can be tricky.
Yeah. February, well, it can even be tricky up through the end of March.
Oh, sure.
Ohio in
We've
winter.
had snowstorms in April.
See, this is why I'm not convinced I'm getting on the plane tomorrow to go back to Ohio. I'm looking at sunshine and like 71 today here in Arizona. Like, why would I go back?
Everybody from your store would make a caravan and come and get you.
Probably. My cats would be leading the way.
Right.
But yeah, hopefully you guys can join us for some in-person events. Otherwise, please join us every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bring your questions and invite friends. Come join the chat. Come see us in person.
Sounds good.
Oh,
everybody have a good week. Stay safe, but have a good week.
That's right. All right, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.